What's up, beautiful people? In this video, we will be talking about what you should do if you have some yellowing starting to happen along your kale and different leafy greens or anything in the brassica family. Let's get to it. What's up, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of Don't Keep Up With the Joneses. 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 Boom! Alright, great people, it's me, Ricky Jones Jr., back again for another video, which I'm also excited to be with you all here today, even in times like this. And I say times like this because with the yellowing and things on the leaves of your kale and your collards and your other brassica family things, it could like deter you. It could, you know, weigh you down, make you feel like you don't know what you're doing, or make you feel like you want to stop doing what you're doing. However, what I'm going to do is help you to alleviate that thought, those problems, and get to the solution, which are nice green leafy vegetables, okay? Ones of which you can eat, your family can eat, and or you could sell them if that's something that you look to do or want to do as well. And so if you're new to the channel, please click that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, as we are on our way to 50,000 subscribers by the end of 2022, and with the help of you, we can do it a little bit better. So what I want to show you are the damaged goods, if you will, because they are still good, however just a little bit damaged right now, a little confused, and then I'm gonna show you what we will do to rectify the problem, potentially because of what the problem could be. All right, let's go. Boom! All right, so exhibit A, ladies and gentlemen, you can see the yellowing going along here on the hair kale, whereas in the other areas it is nice and green, not a deep green, but a green nonetheless. And so that is one of our problems over here. And then right around here you can see yellowing and then some even browning going along the edges of that their kale plant, in which we are going to solve that problem as well. And then even some in there that's going along within this here raised bed situation, which is not a good sign, but we're going to go ahead and solve that problem today. And then we have some kale here, as you can see right so there, ladies and gentlemen, that is some yellowing going along there. But then on the undersides of these here, these are collard green plants, and so that's collard green. You see the yellowing going there as well as over there as well. And so we're going to solve these problems, ladies and gentlemen, that you may be seeing or that you may see. I hope you don't, you know, fingers crossed, I hope you don't. However, if you do, we are going to give you the solutions today so that you will be able to solve that problem if it does happens to show itself in your garden. Now, there could actually be a number of reasons why your kale and things like that may be yellowing on your leaves, which one of the common things is that it could be a disease, quite honestly, and diseases form and diseases come and various reasons for certain cases, but you just definitely want to take a peek at your leaves, in which this one, which, you know, sometimes it could be like yellow flies, which here it doesn't seem to be the case for these, which I'm also thankful about, because those are some pesky pests, in which now I do have my marigolds here that will do and keep away those white flies. But as you go ahead and break those things off, because that is what you want to do when you see the yellowing leaves at and on your plants. And so what potentially could be the problem is a disease that has come, and diseases come very frequently and quite often on our brassica family leaves, largely because of the way we potentially water these bad boys. You know, if you water them during the morning when dew is still on your plants, that could be harmful, because I mean, they're already wet. You just add more moisture, and that allows for diseases to just easily run rapid in your garden. Or it could be because of something, right? A pest could come along and just do what they do. Like I said, white flies, those are ones that wreak havoc on our kales and brassica family plants. And so, or it could be because of a lack of nitrogen in your soil. And so without having to go through a whole soil test and things like that, now you can do it if that is something that you want to do. However, what I choose to do is just take a look at everything, get a feel for everything, but then learn and grow from there. And so what I will do is spray some neem oil on here, just in case there is a potential disease trying to flow or form within my garden. And again, it is good to use your neem oil in the heat of the day so that it can stick to the kale in this case, or collards in this case, or your other plants that you are spraying your neem oil on. And so you just want to make sure it is not in a time in which things will just run off. So don't spray it in the rain, which probably just makes sense, right? And man, that's a big cricket right there. Woo! That bad boy's trying to get me. But nonetheless, I'm gonna spray some neem oil on these here on this side as well as the other side. But then I also have a mix of some worm castings as well as some blood meal, which is great for nitrogen. And so I'm gonna just sprinkle it at the bottom of the kale plants, or the plants in which I had and saw the problems with the leaves themselves being a little bit yellower than I also desire. And so we're just gonna make sure everything just has a nice amount at the root system of the plant itself, in which this is gonna help boost the soil. I mean, the worm castings in itself just works miracles, but then when you also pair it along with another, if you will, fertilizer, which in this case being blood meal, because of the nitrogen necessary for the leaves themselves, it's just gonna give it that extra, you know, 1-2 punch. I'm gonna call it the Mike Tyson of gardening punches, right? You know, just that KO, that KO. And so we're just gonna make sure everything is just nice and incorporated in the soil itself, and we're gonna be good to go from there, or should I say good to grow from there. You know, a little corny dad joke. Why not? Why not, huh? I'm a dad, I can do that. And so let's just go to the other raised bed so I can see you and show you what other things may look like. And so same case scenario, what you want to do is just for sure take away those leaves, those yellowing leaves from your plant themselves, and doing it in a way in which you will harvest the plant. And so here, the white flies are not a problem, which they were before, like I said, but now I do have some of those marigolds as well as some dill that I have planted in this bad boy, which is doing well, sorry to say. And so I'm just gonna make sure I take the yellowing leaves off. And what you do wanna do is make sure that you take those leaves off and out of the raised bed or the growing area in which you are growing in. No, diseases do not travel through soil. However, it is good just to not have it around, because they are able to travel through water and things like that. So that's why the times in which you water is important and necessary to keep in mind, because you do want to make sure you're doing what's necessary for your plants to grow nice and strong. And as we know, having a rotten apple next to a good apple will rotten out the good apple in due time. So same concept here, just making sure all the bad apples are out of the equation. In which these are my dino kale. My dino kale has definitely given me a lot of interesting moments, just to say the least. And so we're gonna spray some neem oil on this bad boy, which I did a video on various sprays and which I use in a garden. Definitely avail yourself to that. I don't want to get too much in detail in this video because I've already done so. However, we're gonna spray the neem oil first, as we did before, and then we'll double back with the fertilizer itself. And then I put on my gloves this time, as you can see, largely because as I was spraying, I didn't want to spray on my hands or anything like that. So, you know, protect yourself. Making sure the fertilizer is at the root ball of the plant itself is the goal that we're going for. And again, with the brassica family, what your focus is on something that is high in nitrogen. And so that's why my blood meal was used, which I've also used other things like fish emulsion, bone meal, bone meal is good for your roots, but your blood meal obviously is good for your nitrogen. It's gonna give it that boost it needs. But then also the worm castings is just dynamite in all areas, for all reasons, for all plants. Can't go wrong. It's a power in itself, but then when you pair it with something else, oh man, what an explosion. And so at this point, I can give it a nice watering. Boom! All right, so watering isn't a problem at this time of the day. One, because it is midday, but then two, I am watering with my PVC drip watering system, which will water the roots themselves, not getting anything on the leaves, which is ideal going forward. Just make sure when you do water, and of course, you can't, you know, determine when it rains, which it has been raining here kind of often, and I hate when it rains at night. because of the problems that we are just talking about. But nonetheless, when you do water yourself, just be sure to water after the sun is up, but then probably about 2 to 3 hours before the sun goes down, and you should be good to grow from there. And you know, keeping in mind everything is subject to your particular garden, okay? So I just told you what worked in my garden. However, you do want to be mindful when you do things and try things in your garden, what different aspects are different from yours as opposed to mine, and different other tricks and things that you can do. But nonetheless, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. We have our kale rectified. Our brassica family is being redeemed, is being touched by an angel, touched by some fertilizer and some water at this point, but then also some neem oil. And so again, I will put all links down below for those bad boys. If it is something that you want to acquire or buy yourself, I do want you to be able to do so. And so remember, it was Simply Grow worm castings, it was blood meal, and it was your hands and the pad and some gloves if you want to do those too. But nonetheless, I love you all. I appreciate you all. Remember, you never have to garden alone, because you can always garden with me. I love you all. I appreciate you all. See you on the next video.